forget to hit record. Okay, now we're rolling. So I'm going to share my screen and show you first this one. Can you see the sunflower? Isn't that amazing that that actually exists in this world? And the spiral pattern, the fractal spiral pattern, is so incredible. And then I'll show you another. Um, these are my, oh, wait, wrong one. Stop share, screen share, do that. Hang on, do you see now? No, I'm so bad at this screen share thing. Do you see a green fiddlehead fern beginning? Okay, good, good, good. Isn't that amazing too? I use this image all the time when I teach yoga, the fiddlehead fern. You've probably heard me say it a million times. But another spiral in nature. And then I'm going to show you one more. This one is my favorite. Can you see the galaxy? Yeah, with its arms. So nobody really knows. There are lots of theories about why galaxies, most galaxies end up looking like this. Are right now, we're in there somewhere. We're like, okay, that's another cool thing to think about. Like looking at that, and somewhere inside of that is little teeny tiny us. And inside of teeny tiny us, inside our body, down to the very fabric, the tiniest bit of the fabric of our being, our DNA, looks like that too. It's in a spiral. So, from the teeniest, tiniest little bit of energy and matter in the universe to the biggest, to whole universes themselves, they're all arranged in spirals. And it's just makes so much sense. Nature does that because it's efficient, and nature does that because it's also, it wants to grow. The universe is in a constant state of expansion. We know that every molecule in the universe, which includes you, because you are made of molecules in the universe, all of them are constantly moving away from each other, equidistantly away from each other all the time. And so we are programmed to grow. We are programmed to evolve. It's actually in our DNA to expand and be vast and be wide and be soft and be evolving. And I take heart in that because I know sometimes I feel crushed, or I feel like a shell, or I feel like I want to contract because things are hard, or I just, all the things we feel being human. And so just to sort of fall back into that knowing that we are actually programmed to really gently, not like, it's not like, the big bang that happened a long time ago. Now it's just really gentle. So we are programmed to really sweetly and gently and slow, like you don't notice, you're not looking around going, oh yeah, I see the universe expanding. No, right? You don't look at your like cat and go, oh yeah. You just know there's just this scientific fact. And even though we don't see our growth, even though we don't feel it necessarily happening all the time, just to trust that we're going in the right direction. So I don't know if you needed to hear that, but I needed to hear that today. So I'd share it with you all. And we'll get started. So we can start with Om. So taking a seat that's noble and dignified. You could rest your hands on your heart or on your thighs, or put them together in a prayer, and breathe in really deeply. Om. Imagine that vibration spiraling out into the universe to just another spiral to add to the many. And then come onto your back. We'll start with just some simple spirals on the back today. And so you could stretch out, and a big X marks the spot. And some of you have done this with me before, but if it's new to you, you might want to, arrange yourself so that you can see me. Oh, somebody's coming in. Hang on one second. Okay. So on your back, just a big X marks the spot. Oh, hi, Jen. Yay. On your back, we're starting today. I'm going to send you the recording so you can see the big talk in the beginning about spirals. So you can come back to it later, but just know that that's the point, is to mimic the spirals of galaxies today. Let's just put it at that. And then come onto your back, stretch out in a big X. And just to start with, before you do anything else, just to kind of like to see if you can tune in to the background hum of the energy of your body. You know, there's like thoughts and emotions and sensations and all of that stuff, but underneath all of that stuff, there's like a at the background music of you. And so what does that feel like today? Your background music, does it feel like Vivaldi, or does it feel like Norwegian death metal, or somewhere in between? And could you just sort of soften into that feeling of this background energy that just sort of holds you and surrounds you and fills you, and just rest in that. And you could imagine both inside yourself and outside yourself, every molecule moving away from every other molecule, equidistantly, gently expanding in all directions simultaneously, persistently, with grit and determination. Nothing's stopping it. And then you can take your right arm and sort of like you're bringing the sun up and across the horizon, reach it straight up above you. And then let it start to cut across the midline over on the diagonal towards your left hand. Keep your right heel super heavy on the ground and just pull with that right arm until you roll up onto your left shoulder, but the right leg stays on the ground. So you just reach on that diagonal spiral. And then it's like you pull the rubber band and then you let it go, just flop back to where you were. And so there's definitely in this flopping back like a just a feeling of recoiling back in and dropping, and then go the other way. So the left arm's going to slowly come up across the horizon, above your nose, above your face, and then reach out on the diagonal over towards the right hand and beyond it, really. The left heel weighs 1,000,000 pounds as you reach through that left arm, and you reach until you can't anymore, and then you spring back and just collapse. So do that again. Right arm, keep the right foot on the ground, reach that right arm up and across and over, and let it start to coil you, right? Spiral you, reaching, roll any amount, but keep the right foot on the floor. You can roll as much as you want, as long as the right foot stays down, and then just let it just poof, fall apart. Yeah. And then last time, like that, left arm going across. Yeah, reach, roll, spiral, left heel as an anchor, and then fall apart back to X marks the spot. So we'll add on now, we'll add the whole body rolling. So right arm is coming up and across. The right heel is resisting until it can't anymore. And then you just pull yourself all the way onto your belly, and that same sort of collapsing. And then take another X marks the spot, but on your belly this time. And then just start to pick your head up and look around. Keep your arms, hands on the floor, feet on the floor, like a little baby doing tummy time was just like brand new to this universe. And then come on back down with the head. Pick up your right leg a little bit. Start to reach it across behind the left thigh. Reach it on the diagonal. Let your right arm resist. Right hand stays glued to the floor until eventually you give it and you just flop back onto your back again. And then do that with the left arm first. Left arm comes up and across over the sun, moving across the sky. It reaches on the diagonal, reaches. The heel stays heavy until it doesn't, and then it pulls you over, spirals you onto your belly, arms out in an X, legs out behind you in an X, and then just pick up your sweet little head and just look around, move your neck. Maybe if you want to move your jaw, blink your eyes, feel your eyelashes brush up against each other, and just sort of delight in the fact that we have eyelashes. And then come on down and use the left leg to initiate. So you bring it up and back across behind the right thigh, reach it, resist until you can't, and then flop onto your back. Yeah. And then go ahead and hug your knees into your chest. As you hug your knees into your chest, you can rock up and down until eventually you rock your way all the way up to sit. And as you come up to sit, take your fingertips behind you and your feet about hip width, a little wider than hip width in front of you. And you're going to lean on your fingertips to lift your knees up. And we're going to turn the legs all the way in one direction. Doesn't matter which one. And then sit, come up to sit. And then again, go the other way. So hands behind you, pick the legs up. So in the air, we do all that rotation and then put them down and the floor holds them in place. So a couple times like that, just leaning back, and you can keep your fingers on the floor even the whole time too. So that's one option, is to use the hands for support here. Just spiral, spiral. Other option is you could also try it no hands. I like to put them on my heart because if I don't, they start to do really weird things. All my attention goes into my poor little fingers. It's kind of harder than you might think, right? Without the hands. So a couple more times, spiral, spiral. And we're gonna leave it with the knees. I'm gonna try to always mirror you. You're gonna leave it with your knees pointing to the right. So your right leg is in front and your left leg is behind. Walk yourself over towards the right. Walk your hands around over to the right side. And then take your left arm, scoop it under. Keep your right hand on the floor, and that'll help. You can really press into it. Just scoop that left arm under like a thread the needle here. Reach through and twist. You can go as far down towards the floor as you like, or you can stay very upright. A lot of just being intuitive today. It doesn't have to be exact, but just finding a place that fits you in each of these shapes. One more breath here. And then you get undo that spiral, come back up, and your choice, either hands behind you or no hands. Pick up the legs, rotate them in the sky, and then place them down. And then walk your hands over to the left side this time, and it'll be the right arm that scoops underneath. The left hand really plugs in to help you spiral. And even here, right, when we spiral, instead of getting all contracted in these twists, can you think about all your molecules moving away from each other? Constantly, gently, but persistently softening open. Come on back to center. Fingertips behind you. Take your feet to the floor in front of you. So feet down about hip width apart, knees bent. Take your arms, reach them forward, roll down onto your back. And then arms overhead alongside your ears. You're going to keep your arms straight. And as you start to coil your way up, reach over to the right side of your knees. So coming up like sort of like a sit-up almost, but let's not call it that because that's not fun. And then back down, arms by your head. And then we'll coil up, thinking about that little fiddlehead fern coiling in and over to the left side. And now make the arms kind of like a circle or a rainbow over your head. Shoo, up and around and over. Then you coil up over to the right side of your legs. The arms swing to the right, up overhead and around over to the left. And you coil up to the other side. Can you coil up? When you come up, try climbing a little bit higher. Curling into yourself. And you could also try taking the arms in one big giant circle. So once you coil up, just sweep them over the front of the knees and around in a big circle and keep going in that same direction. And just notice, notice looking at your knees when you come up, which direction your circle's going, from the left to right or right to left over the knees, because we'll change it next time. Couple more times. Can you circle and circle all the way up, little by little, like an inch or two of the spine at a time? Oh, it's really hard to talk when you do this. And then come up to sit. How'd that go? And then just go ahead and roll back down onto your back. X marks the spot. So all of that from the very, very beginning. We'll start it with the left arm. Left arm coming up and across the horizon over the head. Reaching, reaching, reaching. Just the arm, the leg stays, but you're reaching in that big spiral. And then just fall apart onto your back. And then do that with the right arm. Bring it up overhead, cross the midline, reach it over beyond the left hand, reach on spiral, and then fall apart. And then we'll add the leg to it next time. So left hand comes across, the left heel is heavy, heavy, heavy until eventually you give in and you spill onto your belly. X marks the spot on your stomach, and then that little head just pops up like a little groundhog looking out of its hole and looking around, and then come on back down. Use the left leg to pull you back. So pick it up, sweep it across behind the right thigh. The arm resists, it resists until it doesn't, and you poof, just fall. Let your bones just fall on the floor. And last time, do that on the other side. So right arm. That's it. Pick your head up, you can look around. And yeah, if you go other places, that's always welcome too, to explore. Maybe you create something that's never been done before in these shapes. So when you're ready, you can pick up that right leg and reach it back and across and let it pull you, spiral you back onto your back. And as you arrive there, just feel again, tuning back in. Can you feel that background music? Going beyond this sort of, the nitpicky thing of like thoughts and words, and just feel the whole hum of you. Let it, all of that, all the thoughts, all the emotions, all the words, just kind of be absorbed into the hum of you. Bring your knees into your chest, rock your way up and back until you rock all the way up to sit. And then coming up to sit, it starts the same way, but it's going to change a little bit. So fingers behind you, pick your knees up, turn them one way, put them down. And you can go back and forth like that using hands, or no hands, maybe hands coming over the heart. And then the next time that your knees go to the right, stay there. I'm going to change it just a little bit this time. Go ahead and walk your right forearm back behind you. Lean on your right forearm. Sweep your left arm up and overhead. And just reach that left arm back. Reach through the fingertips and down through the left knee. And then come on up and change sides. Hands or no hands, pick your knees up, turn them the other direction and put them down. Left forearm reaches back. Right arm sweeps up and across. And then you can kind of reverse that circle, press into your forearm to come back up. Change sides. We'll do that again. And you can play with this. So offering that you could keep this the same, or if you wanted to, you could lean on the palm instead of the forearm, lift your hips up and add another element to this. If at any point it gets to be too much, just go back to where we were before. So you're either on your forearm, sweeping the arm up and overhead, or you're on your palm, lifting the hips and sweeping the arm. And that arm that goes overhead can do a semicircle and then reverse, or it might even do a big full circle. Who knows? Make something up. So another half a minute or so just to explore this movement and to really let it give you some information perhaps, or just help you feel the spirals of your own body. Nice. When you feel like you're about even, go ahead and just sit and come back to center, feet on the floor, hip width apart. Arms reach out so that you can drip your way down onto your back and sweep the arms up alongside your ears. Same like before, just start simple. Just coil up and reach over to one side of the legs. And then back. And coil up and reach to the other side. And then you can start to add the arms moving more in a big semicircle up and around, overhead, and reach. And so whichever way your circle went before, you're going to go the opposite way. And you can start to make a big full circle with the arms. And little by little, lifting the body up, coiling one more section of the spine up, until you can eventually bring your way all the way up to sit. And this time, just swing your legs around behind you, and we'll come to all fours. So as you come up to all fours, kind of like a donkey almost, take your right leg and just start to circle it around like you were going to kick somebody back there. Just make some spirals with that knee. The knee is bent and the thigh is spiraling in the hip socket, and change directions. And then we're going to crisscross the right thigh behind the left thigh, and just push your hips back to wherever they want to go today. Just push into your hands, stretch the hips back. Shift forward again, and then stretch the hips back a couple more times, just kind of rocking, bobbing the whole body forward and bobbing back. All your molecules spiraling and expanding. And then take the right leg. I'll show you this way. You're going to take it out and kick it over to the right side and put it down so it's in line with the hip. And we'll take the left arm, reach it out to the side and open it up. And then a few times, so you can reach it back, wing it back any amount that it wants to go today. And then scoop it under the right arm and reach it through. We're not going to rest here. We're just going to reach and then open back up. And do that a few times. Reach and open back up. And one more, reach. Go through. This time stay, settle in for a bit. You can put your shoulder down. You can put your ear, the side of your head down. Go press into the right hand to help spiral the spine. Remember your tenderness. This is not about big bang. This is about soft but persistent opening. And then come on back up to all fours, but keep your legs stuck out the other side there. And then we'll go the other way. So right arm is going to open up, way up and back. Turn, turn, turn. And then right arm scoops under left and reaches. And we'll do that just a few times. Go ahead and just spiral open and spiral under. And then the next time that you do that, you open and go under, stay under. And just like we did on the other side, just rest there momentarily. If your shoulder touches the ground, great. If it doesn't, that's great too. It really doesn't matter. And then as you come on back up, you're going to keep that asymmetrical place with the legs, but just walk your arms forward. So it's like a puppy pose. Your butt stays up in the air, but the heart descends and melts. And some of you were in my yin class the other week where we actually talked about and looked at the heart and how the heart is made with spirals. The heart is actually two big spirals, and then the end of one spiral, the last flap lays over the other one and creates that heart shape that we know. And so imagine your heart in there. Let it unspiral a little bit. Maybe it could not be so tightly coiled, even just a little bit, even like 5% less bound up and braided, a little bit unraveling. And then start to walk your hands back in. And as you walk them back in, tuck your back toes under. Actually, no, let's not do that yet. Keep the top of the foot on the floor. Walk it back like a half child's pose, an asymmetric child's pose. So you can let your hips go back towards your left heel. Your right leg stays where it is if you can. If you need to move it so that this is more friendly, please do. And then go ahead and stay like that, but just roll up. So you're sitting on your left heel and you can pull that right leg in and step on it. So you're in a half kneeling and a half sort of squatting position here. And then you're like the thinker statue by Rodin. You can bring your right hand behind you on the floor a little bit, bend the left elbow and you can tuck it. If you can, you tuck it over. If not, you can hold on. But like that thinker statue, right? Like really rounding and spiraling in. You can bring your fist to your forehead. And then we're going to unspiral and go the other way as you come up. Turn your body towards the left, drop the left hand behind you, reach your right arm up, and you can lift your hips up off of that left heel, any amount, lean back. And we'll do that a few times. Sit back down on the heel, spiral it over to the right, right fingertips on the floor, bend the right elbow, the thinker. And then up and hallelujah, it spirals open like a little lily in the spring. Reach the right arm up, lift your pelvis up. One more time, go through the thinker. Let's stay in this one. And then as we come out of this one, you can undo it. Put your fingertips on the floor in front of you and just step on your left foot to come to standing forward fold. Soft, dangly, like a piece of pasta, just kind of hang there. You can bob around, you can whatever you need to do to help yourself soften open just a tiny bit more. And then little by little, roll yourself all the way up to stand. And when you do finally, no urgency, no rush, arrive standing, we're going to do a little crumple. So standing, just let your right ear come towards your right shoulder, your knees bend, and you're going to sort of crumple over to the right side. And then feel that crumple start to sort of spiral until you come down to a forward fold through the center. Doesn't have to be all the way. You can just sort of dangle and hang and then roll up through the center. And we'll crumple to the other side. So crumpling left, just and then let the crumple turn into a spiral that brings you down towards center and roll up. One more time, each side. So as you roll up, you crumple right. Sound effects help, and then spiral down through the middle. And last time rolling up, this time as we crumple left and spiral down, you're gonna stay down. So crumple left, spiral down, stay down there, walk your hands out, downward facing dog. Whichever direction you have to walk to get there, doesn't matter. And then just a good old fashioned vinyasa here. You can come to plank, chaturanga, or all the way down if need be, and then a cobra or an up dog. And back to a down dog. And then just noticing, stay in down dog and notice the effects of your practice on your body, your heart, your mind, your background music. Touch your knees to the floor. So taking those donkey kicks with the left leg, just sort of circle it around and around behind you. Circle it a bunch of times, spiral it in one direction, go the other way. You can change directions at will. I was thinking this is like a car wash for your hips, like getting in there, getting every little bit of mud and dust out of there, and then crisscross left thigh behind right thigh and push back. And then just forward and back. Again, like, what? I can't remember, it's been so long since I've had a little one. But motoring, isn't that what they call this when babies are little? Motoring, right? When they're like about to start crawling, we're just gonna motor forward and back. And then take that left leg, bring it out again and bring it over to the left side and put the foot down. So it's in line with the hip, it's out horizontally. And then first we're gonna take the right arm out and up, turning the chest, and then sweep it under. Swoosh. So like that a few times on that side. This time stay. So as the arm goes under, just stay with it and find that twist. And some of you might grab your ankle or pants or let the arm rest on the floor. And as you undo that spiral, bring your palms back under your shoulders and take the opposite one. So this time your other arm lifts up. Yeah. And this one you can usually find a little more spiral. There's a little more room to open the chest skyward, and then whoosh, you dive it underneath a couple times like that. And then eventually let it land, stay in the twist. Use the other hand on the floor, pushing in to help turn you, but never losing your gentleness. Every molecule of your inner universe, quietly but persistently moving away from every other molecule. And as you undo that one, take it into an asymmetrical puppy. Walk your hands out. Let your heart contents just spill out a little bit, unbraiding, unspiraling. And then start to walk the hands all the way back until you come to an asymmetrical child's pose like situation. Keep the left leg stuck out there and just smoosh your hips back towards your heel. And again, you make of this, some inner legs feel this a lot. So if you don't go all the way back to child's pose, that is A-okay. Eventually, you're going to sit all the way back on that right foot and pull the left foot in to step on it. So first to the thinker, left hand a little behind you, right arm comes over and you round. And then unravel, unspiral up and open to the right. Carry that right arm all the way around behind you. Lift the left arm, lift your hips. And then go back and forth like that, gently but persistently. Through the thinker, and then through the opening sunflower, all your fractal spirals. The next time, no rush, but the next time that you get to the thinker, stay there and just let that one simmer a little bit. And we're going to undo it. Same like before, fingertips in front of you. Step on both feet now, standing forward fold. Soft and dangly. Roll all the way up as you arrive at the top. First to the left side, crumple, and crumple becomes a spiral, and spiral folds forward, and you roll right up through the middle again. To crumple over to the right side, crumple, spiral down through center, and then roll it back up. One more time, each direction. So crumple left, no rush, spiral down. And when you crumple right, that'll be the last one. You can spill all the way down and walk it out to downward dog. No rush. When you get there, you get there. And then you can take a vinyasa of your choice, or you could always just skip it. And otherwise, roll out to a plank, lower your way, and a lift of the chest, and then back to downward dog. And then again, just living in it, breathing in it, expanding in it. Feeling your background hum, feeling the energy that holds you, imagining where you are in that galaxy, that spiral galaxy. Are we in the middle somewhere? We're not in the arms, I don't think. I think we're more in the center. You could touch down to both knees and maybe I'll show you this first so it's clear. So just watch for a sec. You can sit back and so we'll explore a little bit of back bending, but try to keep this spiral idea. So I'm going to sit back on the heels and don't do it yet. I'll show you. One forearm and one palm on the floor and using that to twist. And then that arm, that's not the forearm, the one that's palm down, I'm going to sweep forward, up, and just keep twisting and come all the way into a back reach. And then it'll just go in reverse, bringing the forearm down, bringing the palm down, twisting. And so we could do that a couple of times and then adding on, those of you who want to, you could go into like a camel, but with a little twist today. Okay, so start with your knees on the floor, your right forearm on the ground, and your left palm on the ground. And pressing into both palm and forearm to spiral your chest open to the left without losing your gentleness. And then that left arm, to start to slide it straight away from you. The right forearm stays where it is. Reach the left arm out and then reach it up and around slowly and let it reach all the way back behind you, fingertips or palm to the floor, right arm back overhead. And let's just keep it simple for this first one. And then you can kind of spring off that left hand to go in reverse. So feel the spiral. Come back, right forearm, left palm. One more time like that. So first twist. And then left arm reaches out, up, over the sky, back, behind you, right arm, reaching back, hips stay down just for now. And then spring back, all the way back until it's right forearm, left palm on the floor. So this time, if you want to add on, you could take the hips up. So keep going. You know how to do it now. You can sort of let it go at your own pace, faster or slower as you like. You lift the hips up off the heels. You could linger. When you come to that camel, if you're taking it, you could move that top arm in more of a circle too. It doesn't have to reach on that diagonal. It could start to open you back, moving the right arm behind your head and over to the right. You could even come in a full circle. Who knows? And then you're going to bring it back all the way. So that same side, we're doing the same side a few more times. And then you can let that go in no hurry at all. But as you start to feel like complete here, you could just settle and sit on your shins. If you need a block to sit on, you could always grab one or a pillow. You can let your palms rest on your thighs or put them over your heart, and just tuning back into your background hum without words, without specificity, just the sort of general feeling of being held in your own energy, your own music. Do that on the other side. So start with the left forearm down and the right palm down, and you're sitting on your heels and you're using the arm and hand pressing down to turn your chest to the right, and reaching the right arm straight forward and up and all the way around until it pulls you up, hand behind you, left arm just reaches, hips stay down to start with, and then you just go in reverse until the left forearm comes down and the right palm. Do that one more time like that. You know the idea now. Same as the other side. This one more simple one, and then you could add on and start turning that into a bigger back bend if you feel like that's what the medicine that you need today. If what you need is to stay really soft and simple, do that. One more. No hurry, but as you again feel complete, you could come to rest sitting on your feet, hands resting somewhere on your body. And then our last spiral that we're going to do today, come back down onto your back. So you can shift around, just pull your feet out in front of you and come to lie down again. Check the time. Okay, good. And what we'll do is start. Scoot, cat. Thank you. On the back. And all you're going to do is it's that same X marks the spot, but we're going to focus on the legs now and just turning your feet to the right, and you kind of feel the right side of your pelvis get squished and the left side lift up, and then come back to center. So it's a small little movement, turning your toes, turning your whole legs to the left this time as you roll onto the left hip and feel the right hip lift a little. And so just explore that, just that little tiny beginning of a spiral. And that sweet compression, right? Oh, that squeezing through the pelvis that your body just loves. Squeeze and stretch and twist. It's all the good stuff, all in one package here. So we can add on, as your toes turn to the right, you can start to bring that left leg, sort of slide your left leg towards the right leg and take it in a big giant circle, up and over until you come back to the X. And we'll go the same side, okay? We're going to stick with the same side. Toes go to the right, and then you that sort of initiates, right? You're already starting to roll onto your right hip. Pull the left leg in a big giant circle up and all the way around. A couple more times. And you could play with that too. It's kind of interesting to initiate it by turning all the toes to the right like we've been doing, or to not do that, to just slide, pick that left foot up, have it pointing straight up, don't turn it in, and just slide it over to the right leg. So you come to almost like a banana, like you get this big side bend first, and then you roll onto the right hip and kick the leg up in a big circle. So a couple more times like that. You might notice any of the feeling, like rotating that bone in the socket. Is there anything crunchy in there? Does it make noise? How does it feel? Does it feel smooth? Does it glide? Does it feel sinewy? Does it feel spacious? Does it feel cramped? You could also add the arm. It's going to go the same way as the leg. So the left arm sweeps down, over and across the belly, up and around. Couple more times, arm adding on or not, if you want to keep it simple with the leg. And then where we're going to end up is with that left leg out to the left. If you can grab the big toe, grab the big toe. If not, grab anywhere on that left leg and just drop it way open towards the side. And then try to pour some weight into your right leg, right hip, right side body to make that nice and heavy too. And just let that left leg just yawn open there. So you're holding wherever you can, whether it's the big toe or anywhere, the calf. If you have to prop up onto your left elbow because the leg doesn't come all the way to the floor, that's great too. And then just let it sort of dissolve back into X marks the spot. Let's try the other side. So turning your toes to the left, and then right leg sweeps up and around and over. And then keep it going like that so you can explore just like before, turning the legs, right? So turning your right leg in and rolling onto the hip and then sweeping the leg. Or you can play with not rotating it in, keeping it perfectly neutral, sliding it over, finding that side body stretch, and then rolling onto the hip and up and around. A couple more times. You can add on the arm. You can make up a new thing. It doesn't have to look just like mine. What does your spiral look like today? And then we'll land eventually, no rush. You might grab the right big toe or not, wherever you can hold on to, right leg opening out to the right. And then pouring like liquid gold, like hot, sweet lava into the whole left side of the body. And letting that left side get so heavy. This cat hates it when I get still for a moment. She comes and cries every time. I'm okay. And then let it just dissolve back into the X. Hug your knees into your chest. Draw all your limbs in. Rock a little bit from side to side. And then you can eventually, no rush, rock your way up to sit. As you come up to sit, send both legs straight out in front of you. No spirals, but there's still spirals happening. We know that now. But you can just take a simple fold over your legs, Paschimottanasana. And now, if there's a lot of effort happening, maybe there could be less right now. It could be a softer, almost a yin style pose, just letting go some of the grasping and being a little more like water. So, one of the reasons why we have so many spirals in our bodies and in nature is because it's just efficient. It just makes sense. And so, just being efficient, let yourself soften. And then you could, without too much fuss, roll down onto your back and get ready to rest. So if you need things for Shavasana, or if you're chilly, you can grab your socks. If you want a pillow, grab a pillow. And as you rest, you could start by just coming back to what we did in the beginning, just sort of going beyond the personalization, going beyond the sort of picking things apart of this is a thought, this is an emotion, this is a sensation, and just go underneath all that to the hum. And just imagine you just this tiny little speck in this giant spiraling universe. But you're here and you've got breath and bones and eyelashes and a heart. And how incredible is that? Feel free to stay, or you can begin to call yourself back. Blink, rock your head gently from side to side. You might stretch or hug your limbs in close. You might coil up on one side and come right up to sit. You could touch your palms again to your heart or together to each other in front of your spiraling heart. It's just one last moment together, just really landing in the inner universe, the galaxy inside yourself, all of its lovely spirals and openings. And just feeling how we're so supported, even when we don't realize it, or we might feel compacted or tiny or crushed or put upon. There's actually this just ever expanding, persistent, gritty thing happening, whether we know it or not, whether we feel it or not, whether we like it or not. We are being gently opened. Want to join me? We can Om, breathing in. Om. Thank you, everybody. So glad you were here.